I am Scented Fawn, a traveler of the fragrant space-time. Today, we're going to talk and learn about some festive customs related to this season that have their origins in another era and be inspired by Winter Solstice for our fragrance journey. Many of your most familiar customs of this season are the evolution of practices from a long time ago. Enter my magic fragrant time machine and of course, enjoy. Long before the advent of Christianity, all the plants and trees that remained green the whole year, like the fir tree, the cypress, the holly and the mistletoe, had a significant meaning for people in the winter. The longest night of the winter is the 21st or the 22nd of December in the northern hemisphere, and it is called the Winter Solstice. From that day on, before which the sun was believed to have fallen ill, the sun regained his strength and people hang evergreen boughs over their windows and their doors to be reminded of all the green plants that would grow when the sun was strong again and when the summer would return. In Northern Europe, the mysterious Druids, the priests of the ancient Celts, also decorated their temples with evergreen plants as a symbol of everlasting life. An evolution of this custom is the Christmas tree, and Germany is credited of starting the tradition of the Christmas tree as we now know it in the 16th century. It was then decorated with candles. To represent the evergreens perfume-wise, I have brought to you two takes on green perfumes. One more ethereal, one other more vibrant and energetic. Gucci Guilty Cologne pour Homme. This perfume begins with an ethereal, cold, somehow mineral green aesthesis. There is also a bitter citrus feel, which lifts this perfume up above the earth and makes things a bit more vivid. With time, as the piney facets of the juniper berries and the aromatic qualities of the rosemary and the cypress blend with the cedar note, the perfume darkens and thickens. It's like walking towards the darker side of the forest. There is also a quality I associate with the symbolism behind the evergreens, the everlasting life symbolism. And I think it derives from the ghostly, the ethereal charm of the dewy violet, dries down to a musky, aromatic and fresh perfume. The performance is that of a cologne, as the name suggests, so don't expect enormous projection or longevity, but it's a haunting, transparent and very atmospheric fragrance. My second choice is a louder, energetic green fragrance, and that is no other than Eau de Minthe Diptyque. This perfume is, of course, very intense on the mint, but also on the patchouli, which also gives it some minty and earthy qualities. And it also has geranium, rose, and nutmeg. Many people describe it as a typical barbershop fragrance, very classic, manly, but I have to say that for me, it's a bit more complex than that. It has a very full body, and there's also a magic touch in here. For some reason, the combination of the nutmeg along with the mint create a very sparkly and playful and naughty quality. And I totally associate this playful aesthesis with the Christmas season. I believe it can be perfectly worn by both men and women. Of course, that's the case with all the fragrances. A beautiful creation by Diptyque. The Yule log is a specially selected log usually from an oak tree or a cherry tree or other trees. In some regions of the world, they still used to burn the Yule log until the 12th night, which is the 6th of January. The Yule log should only be lit once and never go out, because that would mean bad luck. This custom dates back to earlier solstice celebrations and also the tradition of bonfires. After the 6th of January, they used to place the log beneath the bed for luck and protection against the household threats like the lightnings and also, ironically, fire. Also, many people had beliefs based on the Yule log as it burns. By counting the sparks and such, they seek to discern their fortunes for the year to come and beyond. To represent the Yule log, I chose a smoky and woody perfume, La Couche du Diable by Serge Lutens. The name suggests something very dark, and this perfume is indeed very gloomy and deep, but also at the same time very sweet, honeyed, and somehow fermented. It is one of the sweetest woody fragrances I have encountered. It almost feels like a combination of molasses and woods. There is also an incensey thing going on, like a lit candle in the air. This may be due to the combination of oud and the warm spicy aspects of the cinnamon, which give it a very piquant, hot and dark character. The more zingy aspects of the orange and the tangerine balance the darkness and the depth and give it a twinkling feel, which reminds me of the sparks that someone may have counted in the past in order to foresee his future, like in the custom I described. The woody, thick sweetness of this fragrance brings me the image of being in the main hall of a mansion, enjoying a cup of mulled wine in front of a fireplace as the Yule log is burning, tasting the warm alcoholic beverage and at the same time inhaling the fresh smoke. The projection and longevity are quite outstanding, more than 6 hours, and it begins with a syrupy woodiness and dries down to a deeper, smokier blend. Of course, in modern days, this custom has evolved to a more edible form, and we now have the Yule log chocolate cake. Feathered Musk by Victoria's Secret. This was a limited edition. This is a soft and delicious blend of chocolate and red fruits, perfect for representing the Yule log chocolate cake and all the decorations on top of it. It starts with a beautifully blended combination of chocolate and cherry. The cherry in here is very nicely done. It's not intensely sweet or synthetic. It gives to the blend a natural sour sweetness, complementing the milky chocolate. This perfume also has a very intense musky character, which makes it not a purely edible gourmand fragrance. It also has a perfumey character, a really playful, fun, not complex at all fragrance. Feathered Musk by Victoria's Secret. Of course, you all know the custom of making orange pomanders during the festive season, decorating juicy oranges with cloves to bring to your house the most delightful, spicy orange aroma. But where does this custom derive from? Pomander comes from the French term pomme d'ambre, which means apple of perfume. The pomme d'ambre had originally many forms, not just orange and cloves. During the Middle Ages, people used to carry or wear a little ball of perfume, also many times closed in a protective cage. This not only offered a beautiful aroma to the wearer, but it also protected people from illnesses. And sometimes they also used it as keepsakes. A clove-covered orange with a golden or red ribbon tied around it was originally a charm for recovery, protection, and good luck. It is highly associated with good health, so it makes the perfect decoration for these times. But our orange perfume charm at present is Eau d'Orange Intense by Fragrance du Bois. This sparkly, fruity, bracing blend of joy. To begin with, this perfume has no orange note particularly in it. How it manages to bring the impression of glittery and sparkling oranges is beyond me, but apparently the fruit notes mentioned include a lot of oranges, clementines, or something of the sort. The oud in this perfume perplexes masterfully the fragrance, offering to the fruity aspects a sleek and luxurious feel. This oud, like another Fragrance du Bois I have tried, is very discreet and glossy. It gives a shiny depth to the juicy aspects of the fragrance. I can't say I get the coconut very distinctly. It's very smoothly blended with the other notes. This perfume has a warm, ambery, bright vanilla finish with a wood scent underneath that offers a golden dimension to the perfume. It is delicately projecting for around 6 hours. And after that, it becomes a beautiful skin scent that lingers with you for hours. Your skin feels embraced by the sunlight, which makes it absolutely fitting for this season, which celebrates the return of the light, the hope, and the regeneration of life. Eau d'Orange Intense by Fragrance du Bois. Have you ever heard of the word wassailing and the wassail drink? Wassailing is an old Anglo-Saxon tradition, according to which, in the beginning of each year, the lord of the manor would greet the multitude with a bowl of alcohol and the toast Weis Heil, be well, be in good health, and then his followers would answer, drink well, which meant that the year began with a certain amount of dizziness. According to one variation, a group of merrymakers would go from one home to another singing traditional songs, carrying the bowl with the wassail inside, which later evolved to what we now know as carols. The other variation, which mostly happened in the country, involved a group of merrymakers who had a wassail king and queen as their leaders, who started a promenade through the tree orchards and sang and drank in the health of the trees in the hope of a bountiful harvest in the autumn. The wassail drink mainly consisted of warm ale, wine or apple cider, spices, and honey, and sometimes eggs. Let's leave the eggs outside the perfume recipe. Christmas in New York by the Library of Fragrance, or Demeter. This is one of my favorite Demeters, and I don't have many from the specific house because usually, while they make very, very interesting olfactive creations, they lack longevity. But this is not the case with this one. So when you find a Demeter with a good longevity, you just have to cherish it. So I chose this perfume to represent the wassail drink because of its amazing combination of apples and rum, which result to a beautiful boozy fruitiness. Besides that, the fruitiness is spiced by loads of cinnamon, nutmeg and clove, and embraced by the most delicious, festive, glazed chestnut accord. The atmosphere is merry, cheery, and calls for some alcohol. The wassail king and queen are ready to go through the orchards, making loud noises to awaken the spirits and shoo the demons away, to choose the biggest tree and bless it with some, well, Demeter in our case. Last but not least, we are making a stop in Ireland to bang away the bad luck with bread. This is one of the most unusual and fun traditions which dictated banging the walls of the house with red to chase bad luck away and the evil spirits. They also saw it as a way of encouraging good luck and ensuring there would be plenty of bread the coming year. Bois, Farine by Artisan, here you come. I used to own a bottle of this in the past, and I might be having one very soon. But this perfume is discontinued, sadly. I think you can still spot it in some sites. This perfume is edible without being sweet, which makes it absolutely unique. It is reminiscent of flour or of the hard crust of a freshly baked bread. There are many notes that could be the culprits for this impression: the wheat, the grain, the sandalwood, and the ambrette seeds. This perfume is very gourmand, very edible, non-sweet, savory, and very unique. I don't quite recall the longevity, but I remember that while it was soft and powdery in terms of texture, it was quite intense in terms of performance. So my tip to you is to not throw away your bread until New Year's Eve unless it is on your wall. Our fragrance journey has come to an end, while New Year's Eve is shortly ahead. I hope you enjoyed this festive fragrant journey and looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Until then, I send you the happiest, healthiest, most fragrant New Year wish and loads of joyful perfumed hugs.